Hi, my name is Tasty Cake. It's a stupid name, I know. But I just came home from watching Warcraft, a movie I have been very hyped about, and this is going to be a review or just mindless rambling about the movie. I haven't decided, so we'll see what happens. And there will be spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, maybe watch this video later. Let's start with myself. I have been playing Warcraft for as long as I can remember. I've played. I have not played Warcraft 1 and 2, which is basically what, at least the first one, what this movie is based upon. So I'm lacking a little bit of that knowledge, but I've read a lot of it. So I played Warcraft, and I played through vanilla to Warlords of Draenor. That's the one. So I played a lot, and I know. And just to show you how much of a Warcraft nerd, or just nerd in general, I am, I have a lot of Warcraft books. So I'm a nerd. So who is this movie for? Is it for the fans, the Warcraft fans, or can a person not knowing what an orc is watch and enjoy this movie? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But I don't know. Maybe I haven't, talked to anyone like that yet. But I really don't think so. I believe that this movie is for the fans and the fans alone. Even though the director Duncan Jones has stated several times that he wants to make this movie for the fans, but he also wants to make this, a good movie, right? And you can't make a good movie without pleasing, everyone. You can't have just a lot of Easter eggs, just no character development at all, because the Warcraft nerds already know the characters. You have to establish them and do the whole story, right? And is that done in the movie? For the most part, no, it's not. So again, it really is a movie for the fans. Is it a good movie? Hell yes! It really is, and you should watch it. But let's get into the review / my ramble. So let's start with some characters. Let's start with the Alliance. I have some notes there. I'm just gonna Khadgar, we have Lothar, and we have the King. Let's just start with them, right? So I want to start with Khadgar. So how is he introduced? Well, he's there. He's a mage, right? We see him. He's this kind of maybe a little. He's supposed to be maybe not entirely, but maybe the comic relief just a little bit. I mean, Lothar, I think, did a better job, even though it was just a couple of seconds. But I don't know. It was something there. He did a polymorph. That was funny, right? And he whatever. And we get to know him a little bit. He has the mark of the Kirin Tor. He's a mage, right? He left the Kirin Tor, which is this mage society school, whatever. It's whatever. You were never told in the movie, so you don't need to know. It's just a bunch of mages, right? And he was at some point supposed to be the next guardian, he didn't want to. He escaped. Is what we, if I remember correctly, is what we is how they introduced this character in the movie. So this goes for maybe every single character in this movie except for Durotan, but I'll get to that later. But it's like, here's this character. Here's Khadgar. He has this tattoo, mage tattoo on his arm. He's a mage. He can do like spells, magic, and he was with this group of mages. Now he's not, and now he was supposed to be guardian. What is a guardian? If you don't know Warcraft, you don't know what is a guardian. Nobody knows. Okay, so that kind of doesn't matter at all. Go, let's go, fight, yeah. And that is basically this movie in a nutshell. You're introduced to characters way too quickly. It just, here's him. He does that and that and go, yeah, fight for the alliance, for the horde. Yeah, that's it. And let's go, King Lane, right? The king of the alliance. What do we know about him in the movie? He wants to fight for his people. He wants to do everything he can for his people. He even goes as far as to accept help from the enemy to save his people. He wants to make peace. Basically, in the end, he is a good stereotypical king, right? And that's it. That's all we know about him. Go fight, yeah. And there is no. That's my problem with the movie. There is no character development at all. There's no development. In some cases, they try, and I see what they're doing, but it doesn't work because you don't get attached to these characters. It's just like, here's him, that's what he do, fight! And it's just the same person doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You never get any attachment, and you don't know anything more about the character in the end, right? You just get to know them more, but from the same thing that they already have explored, right? So one thing is that I want to talk about is that, for example, King Lane, he dies in the end. As I said before, spoilers, right? Right. So Lane, sorry, he dies. He gets stabbed by Garona. He gives her a choice: either die with him, or get respect from the orcs by killing the leader, and like that, and get basically not die, right? And he asks Garona to make peace with the horde and the alliance, or the orcs and the alliance, right? And that the concept is good. The scene is kind of good, but it could have been so much more when he died, because there's nothing there to keep us engaged. It was like okay, the portal went down, they're not gonna get to Stormwind, and he's like, okay, I'm going to die, but at least I can save you, Garona. And that's cool, right? The scene is good, but it could have been so much more, because I'm like, yeah, he's gonna die, right? And yep, yeah, he just said he's gonna die, but he can save her. Okay, yeah, then he died, yeah. All right, let's move on. They didn't establish the character, and they didn't do enough to make me care about the character. So when he died, I felt nothing at all. And it's, the acting in the movie is top notch. It's amazing. So it has nothing to do with that. It's just poor pacing and very, very bad character development, or introducing the characters and making you care about the characters, the world building, the that sort of thing. It's so bad. But then and the same thing with Lothar. He's a little better, but it's still the same thing. He's a good warrior. He's the same as the king. He wants to protect his people. And he has this kind of thing with Garona in the movie. Again, it could have been better because it just sort of suddenly happens. We all know it's gonna happen because we've seen in the trailers, but I thought that it would lead up to it, but it just bam, yeah, let's go. So yeah. But let's go to another character, Durotan. Durotan, the orc chieftain, is hands down the best character in this entire movie. If he wasn't in this movie would be just trash. I'm serious. This movie is good because of that character. That character is done well, I think, in my opinion at least. The movie starts off with like 10 seconds of just watching his face, and the CGI. I was skeptical when I saw the trailers. Sorry, that it wouldn't work. It looked too cartoonish, and some parts actually just looked a little off. But after seeing the movie, the CGI is amazing, and the movie starts off with Durotan. You see his face, and you can actually see the actor's eyes behind it. So that gives the CGI a lot of character, right? But Durotan, we know what he wants, and we can sympathize with Durotan very easily because he is he's inside. He has a wife. He has a child. The wife is pregnant. And you have all of these clans that you're introduced to, and the orcish horde, and you have Gul'dan, and he wants to save his people and do whatever is right. He has to save his wife, and they have to get rid of this dude because he's destroying everything. And the orcs are a violent race, but they're not bad people. At least some of them. Warcraft. I mean, the point of the movie is basically to show that not all sides are good and evil. There can be good and evil on both sides. So in the end, the story is very, very simplistic, but it's just there, right? But Durotan, good character. He also, as the same as King Lane, he dies, right? And I'll say that scene was a lot more powerful because we could basically sympathize more with Durotan than with Lane. So the scene was more powerful when he died, but even still, something was missing there as well. I didn't care enough. I didn't care because every time Durotan was on the screen, I was like, yes, this is gonna be good, and it was every single time, except for the death scene. It should have been so much more because the only character that I cared about a lot of characters, but I really cared about Durotan in this movie. That's how I felt, and I understood him, and I understood his goals and what he wanted to do. But even still, when he died, I was like, really, just like that? I mean, something is missing all over the place in this movie. It just bam, 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 bam. You establish him in 1 minute and just bam, go, yeah, fight, alliance, horde. And he's dead. Oh, and he's dead. Wait, who are you again? That's basically the movie. That the pacing and the character development, and how attached you get to the characters in this movie it's my only complaint with this movie, but it's a big complaint, right? So there's that. Let's go into something else. Actually, I have an example. I don't know if that's going to be important, but let's just go with the notes. When we have and King Lane and Durotan, like they die, right? And I wanted to make a comparison to the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, and you can't compare these movies at all because first of all, the book, the Lord of the Rings, which the movie is of course based on, is already a much better and rich story. Has a lot of turns and twists and whatnot, right? This story is essentially this side versus this side. This side can have bad characters, but is good, and this side, which is the bad side, can also have good characters. Let's fight. That's essentially the story in a nutshell. The Lord of the Rings is a lot more complex, right? But Durotan and King Lane dies in Warcraft. In the Fellowship of the Ring, Gandalf dies. Like, how long is the Fellowship? 2.5 hours. And Gandalf dies maybe 1.5 hour into the movie, something like that, right? And that scene where Gandalf dies is so powerful. When Frodo's like, no, and everyone's crying, and that's just a good scene. But what makes it even more powerful is that we know Gandalf. His character is good. We know him, and it's been set up good to that point. So we care. We really, really care. And also the scene is amazing, so we care even more. In Warcraft, both of the scenes are good, but we don't care about the character because you can see the differences, right? It's like, oh, that happened, that sucks, but I really don't care, right? So I thought that was a comparison just to compare what is good and what isn't. So the CGI, right? I've seen the trailers, obviously. And I was a little worried going into the movie. I tried not to get my hopes up because I knew that something could go very wrong. Well, the CGI it looked good for the most part, but some parts of it looked maybe a little too much. Too much color, too much. Something didn't mix when you saw the human and the CGI orc or the dwarf, which you also saw in the trailer. Something didn't mix. There was something wrong. But after seeing the movie in its entirety, everything works and it looks amazing. And I actually want to say something, and that is visually, just visually, the movie. It's the best movie I've ever seen visually, but just visually, it's the best movie I've ever seen. So the CGI is good, and you shouldn't really, and the action sequences and all of that is just top notch. It's if you're not a Warcraft fan and you want to watch this movie, you will have a lot of entertainment value in the environments and the magic and the fight sequences and how good the movie looks, because it looks amazing. That is an important point, because you go to a movie to have fun, to enjoy a good movie, right? And there's a lot of entertainment value in the movie looking good, and the fight sequences being good, and that's going to entertain you. I promise you that. But it's still not enough to keep you engaged, because there's so many other things. But let's go on to something else. So Khadgar. I want to say something about Khadgar, because in the end, as I said, the movie is one side versus the other. Very simple plot, right? But we have another, kind of a subplot, really, which is Khadgar's plot. Khadgar's whole, point of the movie, being in the movie, is leading up to one point. Well, I mean, he's a very important character in the WoW universe. He needed to be in the movie, right? But I really feel like he didn't really do anything. All of the fight scenes and when he was, present in the movie, he just there's a magic attack. There's a magic attack. There was nothing really important. He just did some stuff and then whatever. And let's get to the main actors and let them do their thing. And then back to him, just magic attack. Yeah. And I'm a mage. That's basically the entire movie with Khadgar. With some other things, right? He flies to Dalaran to warn the Kirintor about the Medivh thing. That he is corrupted by the fell magic. He has this demon inside of him, which is Sargeras. That's the demon's name. You don't really need to know that the demon is named Sargeras because you're not told that anymore. He's a demon, right? Whatever. So Khadgar's subplot leads up to this one thing, and that is Khadgar versus Medivh. And he does this. First there's Lothar, Khadgar, and Medivh in the same room. Like Lothar is fighting this golem, which Medivh created with fell magic, or the demon created with fell magic, I should say. And in the end, he channels when it's defeated. He channels this spell, and he dumps the golem on top of Medivh, and defeats him. Right. And that thing that he did there is the only part in the entire movie when the character Khadgar, had a purpose. He did not have any purpose in this entire movie. In every scene where Khadgar was present, except for the Dalaran scene, I felt like he was just there. He was just there to be the mage in their party. The only important scene that he did was taking out Medivh and being in talking with the Kirintor and and basically figuring out that Medivh is the bad guy and telling Lothar that stuff. But everything else, it's like if I can count, I can't because I don't know, but if I can count how many minutes Khadgar was relevant in the movie, it's like 1, maybe 2 minutes out of all the minutes he was present in the movie. It's just magic attack, I'm a mage, hey, yeah, back to you. It falls really short, but the magic looks good, so I'll give him that, right? The CGI and the effects and the environments, it looks amazing, right? So let's give them that, right? But there's a lot of, and again, it's the characters. It all goes down to the characters. But the acting, though, however, when they present the characters in the movie, it's not the actor's fault for it lacking. The acting is amazing. The cast is amazing. There's nothing really to say there. You know that a movie of this caliber, with Duncan Jones and Blizzard Entertainment, they're not gonna pick bad actors or actors not cut out for the job or the role that they want them to play in. So acting is phenomenal. It's really good, but it's the script and the plot and basically the pacing that ruins some of the movie experience, right? So let's talk about some other things. In the end, that's my only complaint, but it's a really big complaint. The characters, yeah, right. I've said that 100 times already. But there's a lot of Easter eggs in the movie, and that's cool. And at this point, I'm only talking to the Warcraft fans that are going to watch this movie or have already watched the movie. The people that don't know Warcraft, haven't played Warcraft, they won't understand anything of what I'm going to say now, and that's the Easter eggs. And I thought a lot of things uh, really it was good. It was good. It was funny and it was good. And it was, first of all, it's the environments and when you're in this room with the king and Lothar and Medivh, and before the final battle, they have this map, and you see Red Ridge, you see what's it called, the Coruscant place, Dust Marsh, is that it? I think it is. I think it is. It's right next to Duskwood. I think that's it. And you see that, and you see, they're in Goldshire, which is a really, you know Goldshire if you played WoW. Everybody knows about Goldshire if you played WoW. The Murloc, it's there for 2 seconds, but it's for me as a Warcraft fan, there had to be a Murloc in this movie. There just had to be. You cannot make a Warcraft movie without a Murloc. Just it was there for like 2 or maybe 3 seconds, but that was good. Yes, they did that part right. And then you have the polymorph. Everybody know that there's going to be a sheep transformation in this movie. That was good. Khadgar did a good job with that polymorph, and that's the Easter eggs. And one other thing is that I thought was really cool when Khadgar has dropped the golem on top of Medivh, and you see this, and he's saying this, light is darkness and darkness is light, that thing, and he's sort of removing the fel from Medivh, and this massive blast comes out of the Karasan Tower, and you see that Karasan is surrounded by all of these trees, and it's a really good place, and it's lively, and it's a forest, and it's alive, right? And this blast comes up, and it transforms the area to not alive, dead, and it becomes is it Dust Hollow Marsh? No, it's not. That's where Theramore is. Duskwind Pass. It's something like that. That's the place where Karasan is. Whatever, that place. See, and that's how we know. That place with Karasan in it today. It's a dead place. Deadwind Pass. That's it. Deadwind Pass. There we go. Deadwind Pass is the place with Karasan, and it's dead trees, dark, no colors at all, just that's it, right? Very dark place, and that happens in that scene, and I just thought that was a really cool. If you played Warcraft, you will notice that thing, and I thought that was cool, and that's these Easter eggs and what I'm talking about now. It happens like every scene like that is like maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds, but it is essentially what keeps the movie together for. And it's weird, I know, but it's basically what keeps the movie together for us Warcraft fans. If that stuff wasn't there wouldn't. The movie would just be all over the place, and it wouldn't have the things we wanted. They're gonna make a Warcraft movie. They need to have a Murloc. It's really stupid what I'm saying right now, that they have to have a sheep transformation and a Murloc and that sort of thing. But it really, really helps, because we, as the Warcraft community, is going to appreciate that, and that is going to help the movie, because we liked that, right? But if you're not a Warcraft fan, I don't know, and I don't know, right? So, but the Easter eggs are good, and I think it's a really good thing that they did all of that, even though nobody except the Warcraft fans will understand it. But it was it was done well, and it was cool, right? It's a small point. I mean, I just came home from watching the movie, and I just wrote down some points so I wouldn't go on a total ramble. Um, so I think I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I think maybe I'll make a part two if I come up with something else, but this is basically it. So in the end, if you played the game, if you've enjoyed the game, played, read the books, like me, you will enjoy this movie. You will like it for what it is, just a entertaining, gaming movie, and in my opinion, it really is the first good video game movie ever. It really, really is. So that's a good thing. But if you're not a Warcraft fan, I really, really don't know if you're gonna like this movie. I really don't know. There's some entertainment value in the action sequences and the visual looks overall, but it's not gonna be enough. So I don't know. If you're not a Warcraft fan and you like this movie, tell me why, and that's cool. So I am going to rate this movie because now it's now it's suddenly a review. I'm going to rate this movie a orc out of 10. Yeah. So I in my honest opinion, I loved the movie. It has flaws. I love the movie, but it has flaws. It's a let's just for 1 second just compare Batman versus Superman to Warcraft. It's kind of like that movie because the pacing is all over the place and the characters, it's something weird, but it's done better than Batman vs Superman. I am actually one of the few people that actually liked Batman v Superman, but it has flaws. So did this movie, but it's a better movie overall, in my honest opinion. So I think that's it, really. So yeah, thank you for watching my really, really, really long Warcraft the movie ramble. Yeah, thank you. So I'm just gonna stop recording and bye.